The cult of Saint Traore, how a Russia-backed junta leader became an icon. Welcome to History Rewrites. Please, if you're new here, subscribe to our channel. God protect Ibrahim Traore, croons teary-eyed American R&B singer R. Kelly, over footage of the 37-year-old military leader of Burkina Faso leading troops into battle and marching through adoring crowds. He is the voice of the people. The video, which has garnered nearly 2 million views, is an obvious AI-generated fake. Kelly is serving a prison sentence for sex trafficking. But it is part of a proliferation of real and imagined tributes to Traore, who since taking power in a 2022 coup, has been transformed from an obscure military officer to an anti-Western icon on the continent. In office, Traore has launched anti-corruption drives, sought to wrest greater control of Burkina Faso's mineral riches from global mining companies, and realign away from former colonial ruler France and towards Russia. This, helped by the photogenic junta leader's distinctive red beret and military fatigues, has carried well beyond the borders of the country of 23 million people. It has also tapped into a well of frustration among Africans fed up with rampant violence, dysfunctional democratic systems, and Western meddling. There is the beatification of Traore, the cult of Saint Traore. Ebenezer Obadar, a senior fellow for Africa Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations, said, "In recent weeks, widely shared images on TikTok and other social media platforms include a real photo of Traore playing football. Another debunked post celebrates his construction of a low-cost housing project. The site is actually in Algeria. Former UK MP George Galloway has repeatedly praised him, and earlier this month claimed France and the US were clearly committed to killing Traore. People love him," said Jean, a 30-something resident of Burkina Faso's capital Ouagadougou, where thousands rallied in Traore's support last month after a U.S. military official accused him of corruption, and the junta said it foiled a major coup attempt. "He's saying things about independence from France and greater control. People like hearing that." David Hundeyin, a Nigerian journalist who has posted positively about Traore on social media to his more than 1 million followers, said he supported what he described as Traore's ideology of economic self-reliance and anti-imperialism. Hundeyin said similar policies would help address problems in countries including his own, where democracy was far from the gold standard. "I don't believe that Nigeria is a more democratic place or is a better place to live in than Burkina Faso," he said. "They're both awful places to live in. But I feel the primary economic and political issue is being addressed in Burkina Faso." The effusive online praise has helped obscure Traore's checkered record in Burkina Faso, which has become the epicenter of the security crisis in West Africa and where the government controls less than half of its territory. Traore has been accused of building a personality cult, and his government has clamped down on the press, civil society, and political opponents, even conscripting dissidents, including doctor and prominent critic Aruna Lure, into the military. CFR's Obadar argued that, while many Africans were rightly frustrated by the lethargy of the continent's democratic systems, Traore's emerging popularity was far more sinister. There is this knee-jerk and robotic anti-Westernism that means once someone shows up to say they hate the West, we automatically believe in that person. Supporters of Burkina Faso's junta hold a banner with a picture of Captain Ibrahim Traore while attending a rally to mark the one-year anniversary of the coup that brought Traore to power in Ouagadougou. Patrick Gathara, a public intellectual in Kenya, where Traore has also become a minor cause célèbre, said, "There is a romanticization of what he's doing. But we've seen where military takeovers take countries, and I'm not convinced this is going to bode well." Traore, a former Special Forces officer, came to power alongside military leaders in Mali and Niger, in a wave of coups in the Sahel, the semi-arid strip south of the Sahara, promising to restore security in countries racked by Islamist and sectarian violence. Mali's leader, Assimi Goïta, has won similar acclaim from some African intellectuals and personalities who say they admire him for expelling French troops and standing up to international mining companies. The French themselves have contributed to the decline of their influence because they have a paternalistic view of our relationships. Traore, who styles himself after 20th century Burkinabe revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, told Russian media this month. Traore has found a ready ally in Russia. Moscow reopened its embassy in Burkina Faso in 2023 after a 31-year absence following the fall of the Soviet Union, while Russian paramilitary group Bear Brigade spent months in the country last year guarding junta officials, including Traore. Captain Thomas Sankara, president of Burkina Faso, attends 4th August 1985 in Ouagadougou. The celebration of the second anniversary of the Burkina Badar suggested that some of the online attention towards Traore was reminiscent of the sorts of influence campaigns run by Russian paramilitary groups such as Wagner, which has previously promoted propaganda advocating for Moscow's interests abroad. Russia is holding up Traore as the second coming of Thomas Sankara, the former leader who was assassinated in 1987, he said, not because they genuinely think there's anything to him in terms of ideology and good governance, but because they want to undermine democracy, Western values, France, the West, and the U.S. Yet Chetan Wanzi, partner at Lagos-based consultancy SBM Intelligence, said it would be a mistake to underestimate the genuine support for Traore among Africans. Western support for longtime authoritarian leaders such as Uganda's Yoweri Museveni and Rwanda's Paul Kagame is regarded as a double standard at odds with the West's stated commitment to democratic ideals, he said. And surveys by pollster Afrobarometer show that, while a majority of Africans said they preferred democracy to other forms of government, more than half of those surveyed would accept coups if they remove politicians who abuse power for their own ends. Preference for democracy in Burkina Faso dropped 17 points to 55% between 2021 and 2023, a significantly bigger slide than over the continent as a whole, though in democratic South Africa, it dropped 29 points to 43%. Nwanzi said many Africans remain disillusioned with the West, opening the space for others. When you put all these things in context, it becomes easy for a geopolitical adversary of the West, such as Russia, to paint a picture that many would look at admiringly. But Hun Dayin, the journalist who supports Traore, dismissed hysteria over Russian influence. Flawed elections in so-called democracies, such as Nigeria, had sown the seeds of disillusion more than any Moscow propaganda, he said. Let's say there is some sort of Russian involvement. What makes that such a terrible thing, he asked. For those opposed to him, Ibrahim Traore could heal the sick, raise the dead, and make every woman in Burkina Faso happy. It wouldn't make any difference. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
Use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked.